Today's chief guest, Honorable Chairman of Paira Port, Rear Admiral Ghulam Sadek, MD KSI, Commodore Aziz, Mr. Kabir Ahmed, Chairman of Freight Forward Association, Rajan Chandra Shaha, representative from Saif Power Tech, and Robiul Alam MKK Logistic, and other panelists. If I have missed anyone, please bear with me. And distinguished guests and stakeholders sitting in front of me, and my dear journalists from print and electronic media. Assalamu alaikum and good evening. At the outset, I would like to thank the organizer for inviting me here as a member of the panel for today's session. And I should not also forget to thank the chief guest and also today's keynote speaker, who has delivered a very informative and lucid presentation on multimodal transportation system for the subject on today's seminar, an enormous potential for Bangladesh. It was very informative. I am just asking apology from you that I will be continuing my speech in English. I am not very good in English, but as I am not good, so it will be in simple English. And there is another reason, because you know the presentation given by Rear Admiral Sadek sir, he was ex-BIWTA chairman. From the BIWTA, he has joined Paira Port. In between, he was in NDC. So probably I will not be able to speak something new, but if I speak in English, as he delivered in Bengali, so it may seem something new for you. So that is the reason. Today's topic is multimodal transportation system. We know that if we define the multimodal transportation system is to take one person or the cargo from one place to another place with various modes of transportation. And as I am not undermining the other modes, but as chairman of BIWTA, I'll be basically highlighting the importance and contribution of BIWTA in this sector, in multimodal transportation sector. So if we look at the geography of our country, we have Himalayas on the northern side and Bay of Bengal on the south, and the land in between in Bangladesh is crisscrossed by many rivers, canals and estuaries, and also various water sources. And thereby this riverine waterways was very familiar from the very beginning of the history of our country. If you visit the museums of Bangladesh, Commodore Aziz has spoken a few words about that. You will find about hundreds of types of vessels are there in our museum. Those had been used since Mughal era. Because the waterborne transportation was comfortable for the people of this country for many various reasons. And you know, this is very cost effective, environment friendly, and very cheap to maintain. So it had been a very famous mode of transportation for us, and also very convenient. If I can just recollect one thing that is from the book of our father of the nation, the unfinished memoir. He was mentioning that he had a journey once from Nobinagar to Ashuganj with our famous singer Abbasuddin to hold a train from Ashuganj to Dhaka. It's an example of both multimodal transportation, in fact bimodal. This bimodal transportation is actually had been from the very beginning of our country, since we are involved in transportation of people and goods. If we just take the statistics of Chittagong port, the last year, the amount of cargo it was handled, not only Chittagong port, if we consider all the ports, 60% of the total volume was transported to those ports, whether it was exported or imported. This 60% of the cargo was transported through the internal waterways, and 36% shares the road and 4% shares with the railway. So we can understand, but we have to actually, we are not yet satisfied. Our speaker has given an data that World Bank recommends if we can reduce the logistic cost of transportation, then probably we can achieve more development for our country. So we will be actually looking for more transportation, and government is working for that. You know, our father of the nation, when he was in power, it was only, he acquired 7 dredgers that time in 1974. He has a very foresightness, and he understood that we have to, for the development of the economy, we have to use our internal waterways. And since then, 96, there was no improvement in this sector, and after that, we are now having 45 dredgers in BIWTA and engaged in dredging, because you know the government's, the present government in their manifesto, they have mentioned that they want to make 10,000 kilometers of waterways navigable for carrying cargoes and passengers. So we are working on that, and till today we are claiming that we have in fact 7,500 nautical mile of waterways navigable, and we are working so that we can achieve our goal for the development of our country. So BIWTA, for multimodal transportation, we have number of, in fact, we have only one container terminal at Pangao, but we have allowed the private owners to build the container terminals, and we have few others, 3 or 4 container terminal. We are planning one in Kanpur, and we have prospects in Shimulia, and we will be working further to make container terminals so that the containers can be carried inland. But we have good number of cargo terminals. We have good number, and we are making one in Nagorbari. 60% of that project has been completed already, and Ashuganj is one example. And for multimodal transportation, actually, if we consider the ideal multimodal transportation, the ideal scenario is available only in the Chittagong port. So Chittagong port is the port which is connected through rail, road, and river. The Mongla port, government is taking the project. Some of you will be knowing that Mongla is also being connected by the rail, road, and river is existing, and I'm sure in future Paira port will be also connected and will be in the same platform at Chittagong port. Government is working for that to improve the multimodal transportation system amongst the various ports and inland waterways. One of our friend was mentioning that, yes, one of our friend was mentioning that we can have more number of jetties in inland waterways which can take the cargoes directly from the ship to the jetties. Government is also looking for those opportunities. You might be knowing that BIWTA has made an agreement with BESA, and we are making a jetty in Miresharai, where these imported cargoes will be taken to the jetty at Miresharai, and we'll be also surely looking for the other opportunities. Another speaker has mentioned that we need to have navigability of 4.5 meter throughout the country, so that this carriage of transportation cargoes can be facilitated. We are maintaining at present 4 meter. 4.5 meter will be little challenging, but we can also achieve. Our aim is to increase the navigable channel throughout the country, so that our cargo can reach each and every corner of the country. BIWTA is doing another thing, that is the PIWTT, that is called the Protocol on Inland Waterways Transit and Trade for Regional Transportation. And you know, this was signed by our father of the nation in 1972. At that time, there were 2 routes, but now we are working on 10 routes. Out of those 10 routes, 6 are operational, and I am sure the other 4 will be operational soon. And he has been mentioning that if the number of ports can be increased, one of our speakers was mentioning. For his information, actually, we have now 11 ports in our country which are declared in PIWTT. So just what we have to do, actually, we have to make a survey and see the possibilities of using these ports. But if there is any recommendation from our business community, surely we can increase the number of ports through negotiation with India. Gentlemen, I am at the fag end of my speech. Considering the importance of this multimodal transportation system, government is working hard, and in the 8th 5-year plan, it has been mentioned particularly the 3R, that is road, rail, and riverine intermodal connectivity to support the hinterland connectivity of all ports of Bangladesh. And our Delta plan also supports necessary steps and given the vision to improve the multimodal connectivity of the country. Thank you, the organizer, for arranging such an interactive session. I am sure this has given us a scope to interact with each other, and we can work together to make our country a developed nation and a smart Bangladesh, and also a Sonar Bangla according to the dream of our father of the nation. Thank you, gentlemen. Jai Bangla.